3 million years ago, the advanced civilization of Mars discovered that the core of its planet was cooling, causing its condensed electromagnetic field to slowly weaken and disappear. The solar wind could recklessly strip away the planet's ozone layer, evaporate water, and lower air pressure. The extinction of species is only a matter of time. The civilization of the entire planet has entered the countdown. Martian intelligent creatures need to find a way to escape Mars before the doomsday bell rings, so that their civilization can be preserved. The nearest blue planet to Mars has become their lifeline. Chief auctioneer Cui Xingmeng and fiancé top cultural relic appraiser Yuan Yizhou of Cresty Auction House were selected by the Martians, embarking on a thrilling adventure and ultimately winning the Martian Earth experiment, becoming the story of Adam and Eve as humans. Keywords of the novel: Mars Secret History. Without pop-ups, download the complete set of Mars Secret History TXT, and read the latest chapters of Mars Secret History. Chapter 1. Disappearing Lover. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Disappearing Lover. Mr. Yuan, the test results show that the gray-white sand you brought back from Miss Chui's disappearance has a 100% iron content. With the current level of human technology, it is impossible to manufacture this material unless. The voice on the phone hesitated slightly. Unless what happens? Yuan Yizhou pursued. Unless it is a product of a non-human world. Got it, thank you. Later tonight, I will go to the appraisal laboratory. You don't have to wait for me to finish work. Put the samples and test results in the waiting pool, and I can get them, Yuan Yizhou instructed. After putting down the phone, Yuan Yizhou fell into contemplation. 100% pure iron material is rare because iron easily reacts with other elements to form compounds. The commonly referred to iron refers to iron alloys containing other elements, such as steel and cast iron. Mr. Yuan, the driver is already downstairs. The rehearsal for your TV station is scheduled for 4 p.m. this afternoon. Would you like to stop by the dress shop? According to the designer's phone number, your fiancée Miss Xingmeng's wedding dress has been ready for some time. Secretary Aya's professional voice pulled Yuan Yizhou's thoughts back to reality. He rubbed his sore temples and replied wearily, let's arrange it this way. Aya quietly covered the door and exited the office. Meng, what happened to you? It has been 48 hours since you disappeared. Where are you? I must find you. Yuan Yizhou sighed lightly, got up from the leather boss chair in front of the French window, grabbed his cashmere coat, and took the private elevator on the top floor to the underground parking lot. Mr. Yuan, the personal profile of Yi Qinghe and her gallery information you requested have been uploaded by Xiao AI. The tablet is placed in the back seat, said Du Ming, a driver in a suit and leather shoes, as he reported from the elevator to meet Yuan Yizhou as he boarded the car. Yuan Yizhou nodded slightly in response to Xiao Du and attached himself to the car. As the car drove out of the parking lot, Yuan Yizhou's thoughts had already returned to the home ground of the annual Corinthian auction. 2 days ago, my fiancée Cui Xingmeng, who was about to get married next month, disappeared from the platform of the chief auctioneer in front of everyone at that grand auction. During these 48 hours, his brain replayed the scene countless times, trying to find the clues to her disappearance. It was a night filled with the fragrance of lilacs in the air, and the main hall of a city's Cresty auction house was crowded with people. Here was the annual grand event of the auction house, and buyers from all over the world came for a treasure. Xirou. This item is stored in a vacuum anhydrous glass cover, appearing slightly dark red and suspended on the steel base of the glass cover. Apart from that, it is no different from ordinary soil. The starting price of $300 million has set a record in the same category. In the buyer invitation list, there are representatives of political and business giants from various countries, and there are even rumors that Singapore's Temasek Holdings Group contacted the seller before the auction, attempting to close the deal at a triple premium in advance, which is a must-win for this auction. 930 million times. The calm and sweet female voice of chief auctioneer Cui Xingmeng echoed in the hall, 930 million twice. The voice became increasingly urgent, but still solemn. She elegantly lifted her left hand, her slender and green jade fingers fluttering towards the buyer who raised the sign. She was dressed in a custom-made qipao with ancient morning water ripples, and with the graceful curves of her waist and hips, she shone brightly, making Yuan Yizhou sitting in the front row very fascinated. 2 billion. There was a commotion throughout the entire hall. Cui Xingmeng's fair and translucent cheeks were flushed, and a pair of phoenix eyes couldn't conceal their excitement. She followed the direction of the voice and sent out her right hand. When she saw the person who said these 3 words, she suddenly froze, her hand hanging in the air, and forgot to repeat the quote. Yi Qinghe. How could she bid on Xirou? Yuan Yizhou keenly sensed his fiancée-A's abnormality and turned to look in the direction pointed by Cui Xingmeng's right hand. In the moment when he met Yi Qinghe's 4 eyes, he understood Xingmeng's abnormality. Yi Qinghe, the operator of the Miameng Gallery, has been extremely active in the auction industry recently, with several major auction houses having their annual finale calligraphy and paintings collected by the gallery. Yi Qinghe himself is also a topic of great interest in the auction industry. As the only legal representative of the gallery, she has never appeared at the auction site and only competes through agents. How could she appear here today to bid for non-calligraphy and painting categories in Xirou? 2.5 billion. Obviously, the bidder on the left side does not intend to give up. 5 billion. The still cold voice caught the attention of the whole audience. Yi Qinghe clearly didn't care about these gazes, and there was no emotion on his cold and beautiful face. 5 billion times. Cui Xingmeng, who had come to his senses, repeated the sky-high price without losing the opportunity. 5 billion twice. She quickly repeated, afraid that Yi Qinghe would change his mind. 6 billion. The voice was somewhat regretful, and the bidder on the left seemed to be making a final move. 10 billion. Yi Qinghe raised his voice and slowly stood up from his seat, overlooking the entire audience. At this moment, Yuan Yizhou noticed that Yi Qinghe was wearing a dress with a similar style to Cui Xingmeng. It was made of a similar material, soft as silk and flowing like water. It was like his own skin, tightly fitting, but with a lighter and more graceful movement than his skin. In the end, Xirou was sold for $10 billion and won by the Miameng Gallery. The crowd was still unsatisfied with the passionate auction process just now. Therefore, after the auction, which was supposed to be attended by both buyers and sellers, attracted more people's attention. Ms. Yi, please move to the main auction table. Cui Xingmeng was excited, not sure if it was due to the lighting. Yuan Yizhou saw that her originally silver-starred qipao had a slight redness, resembling the color of Cui Xingmeng's cheeks. Yi Qinghe's mouth slightly raised as he walked towards the auction table. As he passed by the front row, his eyes glanced at Yuan Yizhou, but he still couldn't see any emotion in her. Could you please ask Miss Cui to personally hand over Xirou to me? Yi Qinghe said politely but without objection. Of course, not a problem. Cui Xingmeng put on the white gloves prepared by her assistant, carefully reaching out to the glass cover on the display stand, holding up the precision steel base with both hands, and walked to Yi Qinghe. Yi Qinghe was not in a hurry to take over Xirou. She raised her right hand and gently stroked the glass cover. The giant diamond ring on her index finger shone brightly under the pillar light. The scene of 2 beautiful women standing face to face, with a multi-billion-dollar item in the middle, is very pleasing to the eye. At this moment, Yuan Yizhou noticed that although the material of Yi Qinghe's dress was similar to his fiancée-A's qipao, the color was very different. Yi Qinghe's silver was as cold as an iceberg, while Starry Dream's silver had a pink hue, shining like the Milky Way. At this moment, the lights in the venue suddenly began to flicker in disorder. Everyone looked around, wondering if there was a problem with the power supply. Suddenly, they heard Yuan Yizhou shout loudly, "Dream!" When the crowd's attention returned to the main auction table, everything in front of them was stunned. The glass cover had shattered all over the ground, and the auction goddess Cui Xingmen was completely wrapped in a dark red soil. In the end, her exposed hands had become semi-transparent. Yuan Yizhou, who was only one step away from the auction table, rushed towards his fiancée Ae like an arrow from the bow, but only caught a handful of gray-white sand. Cui Xingmen was swallowed by Xirou. "Mr. Yuan, are you thinking about Miss Starry Dream again?" Du Ming asked with concern as he saw Yuan Yizhou's pale face through the rear-view mirror. "In 2 more traffic lights, you will arrive at the dress shop. Designer Fei should already be waiting for you in the shop." Yuan Yizhou remained silent and just nodded. Yuan Yizhou withdrew his memories and sorted out his emotions. Fei Yu has been insisting on face interviews. Does he know anything about the disappearance of Xingmen? End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Luotang Qingyi Pavilion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Luotang Qingyi Pavilion. The car took a turn from the main road to a one-way alley and stopped in front of a courtyard house. "Mr. Yuan, please get off the car first." "I'll go ahead and find the parking lot," said Du Ming as he opened the car door for Yuan Yizhou. Yuan Yizhou looked up and saw the plaque hanging on the gate of the quadrangle courtyard, which was elegantly written in Xingkai as Luotang Qingyi Pavilion. This should be the store of Fei Yu, Cui Xingmen's favorite Chongsam designer. Yuan Yizhou walked confidently into the gate, and within a few steps, he saw Fei Yu alone welcoming him out of the main room. "Mr. Yuan, I finally have you here." Fei Yu's unusual enthusiasm made Yuan Yizhou suspect that he was the legendary design genius who refused to come thousands of miles away. It is said that apart from the aunt who came to clean regularly, Fei Yu was the only one in the Luotang Qingyi. "Sorry, Mr. Fei, I've kept you waiting for so long," Yuan Yizhou politely exchanged pleasantries. "After the incident with Xingmen, I was a bit anxious. I also stopped by today and will definitely come to apologize another day. Judging from what you said, if you are willing to visit my humble abode in person, it is already shining brightly. Mr. Fei, by the way, I have already asked my secretary to transfer the remaining amount to you. Why do you insist on me personally picking up the dress? Mr. Yuan, there are some things here that you may be interested in, so you need to personally see them." During the conversation between the two, Fei Yu had already led Yuan Yizhou to the east wing room. From the courtyard, he looked at the carved corridor and painted pillars, the antique wing room, and when he opened the door, it was completely comparable to the high-tech layout of Yuan Yizhou's appraisal laboratory. A row of robotic arms along the window are cutting various colors of fabric in an orderly manner. Several 3D printers placed against the wall are meticulously carving various models, and the computer-controlled sewing system is operating accurately and rapidly. With Fei Yu, Yuan Yizhou arrived at the inner room, which looked like Fei Yu's personal studio. The touchscreen workbench of Noada displayed various clothing styles and some design drafts. Fei Yu picked up a box from under the workbench, which contained many fabric color samples. He flipped through for a while and took out a dense bag from the bottom of the box, which contained several pieces of silver fabric, and handed it to Yuan Yizhou. "Do you recognize this? The qipao fabric that Xingmen wore on the day of her disappearance." Yuan Yizhou blurted out without thinking, and he had already engraved that scene in his mind. "What else?" Fei Yu didn't seem to think Yuan Yizhou had hit the nail on the head. "On the day of Lin Qinghe's auction, he also wore clothes made of this material," Yuan Yizhou replied, expanding his brain's image. "Mr. Yuan, besides women, do you have anything else in your mind?" Fei Yu revealed his rebellious side and said impatiently, "Why are you also a top appraiser in the field of cultural relics appraisal, so you didn't see anything unusual about this fabric?" With such excitement, Yuan Yizhou took out the fabric from the dense bag and began to carefully rub it in his hand. "Is it alive?" Yuan Yizhou exclaimed in surprise. "I've been a fashion designer for so many years, and I've never seen any materials before, but this piece of fabric, or something I don't know what it is, has left me completely clueless." Seeing Yuan Yizhou's quick answer, Fei Yu blurted out a question that had been puzzling for a long time. You're an expert in the field of antique appraisal, have you seen similar materials? It has no resistance to the touch, not because the surface is smooth, but because those fibers will actively deform with the pressure of my fingers. Yuan Yizhou raised the fabric to his eyes, watching it gently wrap around his fingertips like a flowing cloud. Do you think this is something that human labor can do? Or is it some kind of natural ingredient? Fei Yu asked. It cannot be human-made. Currently, various memory materials developed by humans can at most undergo stress deformation and remain in place for a period of time. This fabric seems to contain some kind of intelligence that can predict the magnitude and direction of external forces and respond accordingly. So it's not naturally generated anymore. Fei Yu became increasingly confused. Where did you get this fabric from, and how did you use it to make a qipao for Xingmeng? Yuan Yizhou suddenly came to his senses and thought of the main purpose of this visit. It was sent by the Miameng Gallery, saying that their gallery has recently obtained a rare piece of fabric. Mr. Yi wants to make a few sets of clothes, and the rest will be given to me. Yi Qinghe. Yuan Yizhou's temples suddenly jumped. It's her. A few sets of clothes don't require so much fabric, and I became obsessed with the feeling of cutting it, so I recommended it to several of my VIP clients, and Miss Cui was also one of them. Fei Yu's obsession with clothing has penetrated deep into her bones. The feeling of cutting it. Yuan Yizhou repeated. Yes, give it a try. Fei Yu handed over a pair of traditional scissors commonly used by tailors, with sharp blades and a thick grip that made people very eager to use it to cut things. Yuan Yizhou took the scissors and cut the fabric in his hand, without any damage. The fibers did not avoid the sharp edges of the scissors like they did with their hands, but remained in their original state without any deformation or scratches. What an amazing intensity! Yuan Yizhou exclaimed, are you obsessed with this feeling of not being able to cut? In a somewhat teasing tone, Yuan Yizhou glanced at Fei Yu. Try this again. Fei Yu didn't pay any attention to Yuan Yizhou's tone and handed him a tool like a paper cutter. When the blade is about 1 mm away from the fabric automatically opens and is completed in one go. This is not a paper cutter. Yuan Yizhou murmured. Good eyesight, this knife was sent with cloth. It's not so much a blade as a water blade, more accurately, Fei Yu explained, gesturing for Yuan Yizhou to carefully examine the top of the tool, which was emitting a faint blue light. Water blade. Yuan Yizhou held it up in front of him, observing it carefully like a cultural relic. The two ends of this blade are connected by a faint line, as that line is extremely thin and difficult to detect without careful inspection. Yuan Yizhou picked up a piece of paper from the workbench and touched the line. As a result, there were liquid marks left on the paper where it touched the line, and apart from that, there was no damage. Are you sure this liquid is water? Yuan Yizhou asked. I'm not sure, I should be sure not. If soaked in ordinary water, the fabric will not react. I'm just using an analogy to call it a water blade, Fei Yu explained awkwardly. Can you give me some fabric? I'll take it back to the appraisal room and carefully test some parameters. If it's convenient, could you lend me this water blade to test it together? No problem, that's why I'm asking you to come in person, Fei Yu agreed without hesitation. By the way, the Miameng Gallery has sent you a few pieces of fabric like this. Is there any other color besides this? Yuan Yizhou's mind came up with a picture of Xingmeng and Yi Qinghe on the same stage, and he was very certain that their clothes were of different colors. No, just this silver one, Fei Yu replied with great certainty. After listening, Yuan Yizhou shifted his attention to the material in his hand and found that the color of the fabric did change slightly, not only in color but also in softness. Can this material change its shape with the human body? Mr. Fei, is there enough fabric left to make a set of clothes? Can you help me make one too? The style is casual. Yuan Yizhou decided to go further and try it out himself. That's enough. Last time Mr. Yuan accompanied Miss Cui to customize a dress, I was envious of your figure. Such a good clothes rack is willing to wear the clothes I made, and it's a pleasure in life. Fei Yu's clothing obsession once again offended. Then you can go to my measurement room to scan the size first. The measurement room mentioned by Fei Yu was in the West Wing room, and Yuan Yizhou followed Fei Yu through the yard. Although he knew that the appearance of this place could not be seen, as soon as he entered the West Wing room, Yuan Yizhou was still amazed by its high-tech layout. The entire room is not filled with equipment like the East Wing. In the middle of the room, there is a platform with countless detection arms around the ceiling, walls, and ground, flashing red or green light. Mr. Yuan, let's go change into a tight scanning suit first. This way, the size will be more accurate. Fei Yu pointed to the changing room on the right hand. After changing his clothes, Yuan Yizhou showed off his good figure, with a disciplined and sweaty body in the gym all year round. Apart from his strong and beautiful muscles, there was no excess fat, and his perfect head-to-body ratio was no less impressive than the sculptures of ancient Greek gods. Fei Yu said that he is a good hanger, which is indeed tacky and accurate. He is a rare and beautiful man who looks thin when dressed and has flesh when undressed. After Yuan Yizhou stood on the scanning table, the scanning heads up, down, left, back, and forth began to bustle. After about half an hour, the scanning was completed, and Yuan Yizhou changed back into his clothes and left the changing room. How could this be? Fei Yu stared at the monitor screen and muttered to herself. What's going on? Yuan Yizhou walked behind him and looked at the 3D scan image of his body on the computer. The image displayed 4 bold characters in the upper right corner. Perfect match. What does this mean? Yuan Yizhou asked in confusion. This is the first time that you have scanned my body size, right? Fei Yu still looked thoughtful. Why are there customers with the same size as you in my database? Exactly the same. What does that mean? Yuan Yizhou was even more puzzled, raised his voice tone, and tried to draw Fei Yu to his dialogue. It's impossible. Even the same leaves don't exist in the world, let alone people of the same size. Fei Yu continued to nag, while his hands kept operating the keyboard and mouse, as if searching for something from the database. Before Yuan Yizhou lost patience, Fei Yu finally looked up at him. Mr. Yuan, your size is already in my database. I thought someone had the same body shape as you. Just now, I checked the matching size data carefully and it's your name. How could it be? This is my first time entering this room to scan the size. Before accompanying Xingmen, I was drinking tea in the main room and had never stepped into this room. Yuan Yizhou understood Fei Yugong's behavior, and he also felt a bit unbelievable. Have you ever done a full-body scan modeling elsewhere before? It's not just when customizing clothing, but on any occasion, Fei Yu asked. I don't have much demand for clothes, I wear whatever Xingmen buys. I have never done a similar scan before coming to your place, Yuan Yizhou replied. That's strange. Why does Luotang Qingyi Pavilion have such a detailed personal profile of you? This is a local area network and has never been open to the public before. I am the only one who knows the password, is it? What is it? Yuan Yizhou pursued. Is it the data customized by the previous team for batch input? Fei Yu started typing on the keyboard to himself again, and this time Yuan Yizhou did not disturb him. After a while, Fei Yu exclaimed in surprise, found it. How could it be her? He pushed the monitor screen in front of Yuan Yizhou, look at it yourself. In the notes on Yuan Yizhou's profile page, a row of small words suddenly jumped into Yuan Yizhou's eyes. Order from Yi Qinghe of Mia Main Gallery. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Power of Xirou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Power of Xirou. Jiao Liang, the gold medalist producer of a city TV station, was a bit depressed. He packed a cup of black coffee from the coffee shop downstairs and entered the elevator with a deathly expression. He pressed the top floor, where the Hongmen banquet was waiting for him. As expected, as soon as he stepped out of the elevator door, the director's secretary waited there and swiped his card to take him into the general conference room. As soon as he entered, a lively and gossipy atmosphere rushed in, which was unexpected for him. "This is definitely more suitable for our entertainment channel, director. Don't worry, these few videos, combined with the emotional entanglements of all the high-looking parties, can definitely set a new high in ratings. I think this is more suitable for technology channels. Being able to disappear clearly in front of everyone is definitely related to time and space shuttle. We can invite a few experts in this field to open a series of discussion programs on the relationship between space and space shuttle. In fact, this kind of live person disappearance technique has a long history in the field of magic, but Cui Xingmeng's method of disappearance is indeed novel. Our Qingyi channel can launch a magic unveiling activity to interact with the audience. The possibility of kidnapping cannot be ruled out here. Billions of dollars are enough to make any criminal want to stir up trouble. I think this case should still be handled by the legal channel." The heads of each channel were arguing with flushed faces and ears. Liang looked up and saw on the large screen in the conference room, a promotional video of the Xirou roadshow was playing in a loop, while on the other side of the computer's external 100-inch display, real-time updates were being made on various social media platforms and hot search lists regarding the discussion of Cui Xingmeng being swallowed by Xirou. He was also present at the auction 2 days ago, gathering inspiration for the upcoming Pai Bao program featuring Cui Xingmeng as a special guest. So he witnessed everything that happened at the scene with his own eyes, and on the contrary, the promotional video for the Xi'an Roadshow was his first complete viewing, because he had always focused on the guests before. Watching the director surrounded by the heads of various channels, Liang probably didn't care about himself for a moment. So he found a corner seat and started enjoying the promotional video. Is land a non-renewable resource? Xi'an will completely overturn this human cognition. Cui Xingmeng's professional voice and sweet smile opened the entire promotional video, wearing a fitted white experimental outfit and transparent splash-proof safety glasses, instantly transforming her into a female scientist. The camera followed Cui Xingmeng into the laboratory and arrived at the experimental platform. A pair of hands wearing surgical gloves appeared in the picture, and on the experimental table was a precision balance, shimmering with the luster of money under the illumination of the light. The hand in the picture used tweezers to pick up a 0.01 g thin weight from the weight box lined with red velvet and placed it on one end of the balance, while the other end was a dark red polyp sealed in a transparent film after vacuum pumping. This film is water-soluble and its mass can be almost negligible. Next, let's take a look at what miracles can be created with less than 0.01 g of soil. Scientist Cui Xingmeng returned to the camera and used a provocative tone to satisfy the viewer's appetite. As the camera rotates, a helicopter is departing from an unnamed small island near the equator. The blue sky, white clouds, blue sea, and coconut groves make people suspect that this is a tropical island tourism promotion. The helicopter is hovering not far from the island. The screen switches to inside the helicopter cabin, and Cui Xingmeng, dressed in vacation attire, appears in front of the camera with call headphones. Sunglasses covered most of her expression, and her curvaceous and plump figure was faintly visible against the light under the sheer dress. Welcome to the open sea. The voice is still full of passion. What you will witness next is an unprecedented scene in human history. As Cui Xingmeng's face moved out of the frame, a white insulated box entered the audience's view. After opening it, inside is the less than 0.01 gram of bentonite that was weighed and sealed in a water-soluble film that I just saw in the laboratory. Cui Xingmeng put on her gloves, carefully pinched the film with her left hand and rested her right hand underneath. The next second, she threw Xirou directly into the helicopter and into the sea. The camera follows its landing point and focuses on the sea surface. The calm sea soon saw countless bubbles emerging, starting to form a small area. Soon, the seawater began to boil and the bubbles began to expand. In less than a quarter of an hour, a piece of land emerged from the landing point of Xirou. The land grew larger and larger, accompanied by the churning sea water, radiating towards the surrounding waters. If a tsunami is a disaster caused by seawater engulfing the land, then the scene before us is the reversal of the tsunami. The land that grew in Xirou is engulfing the seawater, and this spectacular earth roar is even more astonishing. The camera follows the helicopter spiraling around this growing soil, with each circle larger than the previous one. After circling around for about 5 times, the land produced by Xirou has become the size of a small island. At this point, the helicopter began to stop hovering and fly away from the island, while the camera also began to stretch to a wide angle. The audience can see very clearly the scene of the small island generated by Xirou coexisting with the natural unnamed small island on the open sea. At this moment, Cui Xingmeng's beautiful face returned to the center of the screen, accompanied by her sweet and excited explanation. Thank you all for witnessing miracles with me. As you can see, less than 0.01 g of Xirou has the power to regenerate soil, and in less than an hour, it has grown land with an area similar to the natural island next to it. For the convenience of comparison, the surveyed water surface area of this natural island is about 70 square kilometers, which is 1/10 of Singapore's land area, one of the 4 Asian tigers, and 15 times the size of the world's smallest country, the Vatican City. At present, the growth of Xiang has stabilized. Let's go to the island and take a look. The helicopter flew towards the newly formed island. After the pilot found a suitable landing point and stopped, Cui Xingmeng and the photographer put on rain shoes and yellow safety helmets, as if visiting an ordinary construction site. They walked out of the cabin and set foot on this newly formed land. There are still some slight tremors on the ground, but it does not affect people's balance walking on it. Stepping on the ground, it is muddy and firm, the low sound of waves can be heard in the ears, clearly breaking the calm of this shallow sea with the small island falling from the sky and rising from nothing. Cui Xingmeng's description makes everyone immersive, as if she is just leading the audience to visit an ordinary construction site that has just been baptized by rainstorm. The soil generated by Xili combines the components of several of the most fertile soils on Earth, including humus and minerals from fertile soil in the United States and black soil in Russia, as well as organic matter from the seawater it absorbs, making it suitable for the growth of various crops. Cui Xingmeng explained as he dug up a yellow-black mud and displayed it in front of the camera. Whether you want to expand your territory in the open sea and build your own borders, or you want to reclaim land and expand your territory. With 5 g of land and 35,000 square kilometers of fertile soil, you are waiting to bid at the annual auction of Karist. Cui Xingmeng's crisp and sharp voice ended the entire promotional video. Jiao Liang, what do you think? Jiao Liang, still immersed in the shock of the promotional video, was pulled back to reality by the director's roar. Everyone has good ideas, but we must admit a reality. Pai Bao has already sold $1 billion advertising contract. If this incident is changed to another theme temporarily, the TV station will be considered in breach of contract and will need to pay 3 times the penalty. Jiao Liang hit the nail on the head and the conference room immediately quieted down. He paused for a moment before continuing, this is one of them. Secondly, my team has been working with Cui Xingmeng and Yuan Yizhou for over a few months, and all the information is collected around the theme of auctions and treasure appreciation. The investment in changing channels for TV stations will be wasted. But now Cui Xingmeng is missing, and the final guest interaction segment is live streaming. You can't let Yuan Yizhou sing a solo play, can you? The previous promotion was copied from CP. Someone in the conference room raised everyone's most concerned question, and many nodded in agreement. I have invited a female guest who is comparable to Cui Xingmeng, and her interaction with Yuan Yizhou is definitely exciting. Jiao Liang answered without a doubt. Did you invite Lin Dai? You are truly the gold medal producer of our station. The director was the first to understand Zhao Yang's plan and praised, "Let's end the meeting. There's nothing to discuss, just cooperate with Zhao Yang from all channels." End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Auction Industries Double Beauties. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. TV Station Reunion. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 5. TV Station Reunion. Yuan Yizhou delayed some time at Luotang Qingyi Pavilion and arrived at the TV station 20 minutes later than the agreed rehearsal time. After Du Ming escorted him into the elevator of the underground parking lot on the second floor of the TV station, Yuan Yizhou went alone to the rehearsal room by following the elevator. The elevator stopped in the lobby on the first floor, and after the door slowly opened, a pair of red high heels stepped into the elevator room. Her fair ankles were faintly visible under the swaying silver skirt. "This is Luotang's piece of fabric." Yuan Yizhou suddenly looked up, dream. When he saw the owner of the red high heels clearly, Yuan Yizhou felt a bit regretful about his impulse. "Brother Yuan. Long time no see." Lin Dai clearly didn't expect to encounter it in the elevator. "It seems that I'm not the only one who's late." Lin Dai's excellent control ability honed over the years on the auction table quickly calmed her mind and changed to a relaxed and playful tone to ease her embarrassment. Dream. You and Star Dream are still sweet as ever, so I didn't come to save the scene in vain today. Is this dress also made by Luotang Qingyi Pavilion?" Yuan Yizhou clearly didn't appear on the same channel as Lin Dai. "Aren't you supposed to ask me first why you agreed to replace Xingmen and live stream with you?" Lin Dai asked in response, not in response to her question. "Why?" "To help you find Star Dream." Yuan Yizhou was shocked again. Before he could ask further questions, the elevator arrived at the rehearsal room floor. Zhao Yang and the staff had already waited for the flowers of the two main characters to wither. As soon as the elevator door opened, they rushed forward and pulled them to the male and female dressing rooms to start preparing. "My assistant will go through the process with you." After reviewing the script, the station manager has decided to go directly to the prime-time live broadcast tonight. "There is no time for rehearsals, so I will go to Lin Dai's place to explain it first and come to see you later." Zhao Yang wished he could finish speaking in one breath, but before Yuan Yizhou could respond, the person had already disappeared. The assistant smiled wryly and apologized to help Zhao Yang smooth the situation. "Our Jia production team is like this, and the TV program rush is like a war. You and Miss Lin Dai came a bit late today, so if the previous battle scared you, please forgive me, Mr. Yuan. This guy was even more popular in school, with a rocket in his butt. After work, he has become much more stable," Yuan Yizhou criticized with indulgence. "Are you and our producer Jia classmates?" Surprised, the assistant's heart was filled with gossip. "We both grew up in the same alley, and I knew him when he was still wearing open-crotch pants. This battle was really nothing." Yuan Yizhou felt that his lateness had affected so many people's work, and he was a little sorry. He wanted to satisfy the assistant's desire to gossip about his boss. "I'm almost done here. Zhao Yang often pulls me on his program, and I'm probably familiar with his tone and process. You give me the script, and I'll watch it myself. Hurry up and get busy with your future boss." Boss's wife. This melon was obviously a bit big, and the little assistant didn't react for a moment. "Isn't Jiaji a millennium single dog? The future boss's wife, are you referring to Ms. Lin? Otherwise." Looking at Zhao Yang's impatient appearance just now, I haven't seen him so excited during the countdown to live broadcasts. Do you think anyone has such great charm to make your Jia the producer become a fan in seconds? If you stay with me for a while longer, you will really miss out on the good show. Yuan Yizhou really needs some personal space. He needs to sort out the information from the past few hours and quickly support this little assistant. As soon as Yuan Yizhou finished speaking, the assistant had already disappeared, leaving only an excited voice floating in the air. Thank you, Mr. Yuan. After flipping through the script hastily, Yuan Yizhou's thoughts returned to the reunion with Lin Dai just now. Why does she have clothes made of the same fabric as Star Dream? Is she also a VIP customer of Fei Yu, or is there also Lin Dai in the clothes customized by Yi Qinghe? What is her relationship with the disappearance of Star Dream? How will she help me find Star Dream? The more he thought about it, the more questions he had. Yuan Yizhou couldn't figure it out, so he took out his phone and opened a folder synchronized with the tablet cloud. He browsed through the personal profile of Yi Qinghe and the materials of the Miman gallery uploaded by his secretary Xiao AI, hoping to find some clues from it. Yuan Yizhou first opened the catalog of the Miman gallery, with a few simple lines on the title page set against the backdrop of the starry universe. The land is carried between the 6 harmonies and within the 4 seas. The site of the destruction of Mongolia, located north of the Xiongnu Kingdom and south of the Dayun Mountains. Looking further down, there are photos of famous Chinese and foreign calligraphers and paintings from ancient and modern times, as well as creative explanations from artists in the gallery's collection. The works purchased by Miamen Gallery are all top-notch works in the industry, so Yuan Yizhou is not unfamiliar with these works and quickly flipped to the end page of the catalog. There is no other information except for the starry universe with the same style as the title page. Opening Yi Qinghe's personal profile again, it becomes even simpler and somewhat absurd. Apart from the name, a photo, and brief information about the gallery owner, even the date of birth is 2 words, unknown. Yuan Yizhou has never questioned the professional level of Secretary Aya, but the preparation of the materials this time was really inadequate, not even covering the minimum address or contact information of the Miman gallery. Yuan Yizhou directly opened the web search engine, entered the Miman gallery address, and after clicking on the search, none of the search results met the requirements. What's going on? Is there a problem with the network? He tried to search for the address of this gallery directly in the map app, but found nothing. Yuan Yizhou was completely bewildered. In recent days, all the clues have pointed to Yi Qinghe and her anti-Mongolian gallery. Such a big buyer who spends money like dirt and sweeps through major auction houses, surprisingly, is so low-key on social media. He immediately dialed the secretary's phone, and with just one ring, Aya's familiar voice came out of the speaker. Mr. Yuan, what do you have to say? Xiao AI, have you ever asked their authorized bidding agent about the address and contact information of Miamen Gallery? Yuan Yizhou asked. Of course, Mr. Yuan, the agent said that the Miman Gallery doesn't have an address. Aya replied fluently. No address. What does that mean? They are all in one-way contact with the agents. If they want to see you, they will give you a key to the Miamen Gallery. Currently, I have only investigated a few people who have received keys and have been invited to the gallery. Do I know anyone? Well, and you've all seen it today, Fei Yu from Luotang Qingyi Pavilion, Lin Dai from Jiafubi Auction House, and Liang from TV. Aya replied in affirmation. After listening, a thin layer of sweat oozed from Yuan Yizhou's forehead, and he felt an invisible net trapping him, getting tighter and tighter. After hanging up the secretary's phone, he rushed to Lin Dai's dressing room, and Liang should also be there. He had many questions that needed to be answered by them. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The Key to the Gallery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The Key to the Gallery. When Yuan Yizhou entered Lin Dai's dressing room, the makeup artist was applying eye makeup to her. Lin Dai closed her eyes and could only hear people coming in and out, but she didn't know who it was. So she didn't stop talking to Liang. If it weren't for the task at hand, I wouldn't be too lazy to come to your program. As a guest, I have to hold on, it's too tiring. Lin Dai complained to Liang. Liang turned his back to the door and focused all his attention on his dream lover Lin Dai. Naturally, he didn't notice Yuan Yizhou entering the door in the first place. He responded and said, "Okay, our little butterfly has worked hard. This outfit is so beautiful, it's a pity it's been hanging in the closet all along. Isn't this? Yizhou. You're done so quickly." Liang looked up and saw Yuan Yizhou standing behind him in the makeup mirror, exaggerating loudly, clearly reminding Lin Dai not to continue the previous topic. Yuan Yizhou also noticed his abnormal behavior and smiled meaningfully, saying, "Is there something so mysterious between you two?" Liang was a bit caught off guard when asked, and his eyes turned to Lin Dai for help. "Didn't I already tell senior brother Yuan in the elevator?" Lin Dai was generous and straightforward, without any hesitation. "My main task today is to help you find Star Dream. Is this a big deal?" Lin Dai's rhetorical question put Yuan Yizhou in a somewhat passive position. After clearing his throat, he replied, "Do you know where Star Dream is?" "I don't know," Lin Dai answered candidly. "How can you help me find her?" Yuan Yizhou was puzzled. "I have the key to let you enter the Mianmen gallery." Lin Dai always plays cards without following common sense, so bluntly that Yuan Yizhou doesn't know how to respond. "The key to the Mianmen gallery," Yuan Yizhou repeated. "Not bad, doesn't senior brother Yuan want to visit Yi Qinghe at the anti-Meng gallery?" Lin Dai asked provocatively. "Do you know Yi Qinghe? Is there a problem? Why don't I know the big buyer of our auction house? Where is the key?" "Here." Lin Dai took out a silver-white envelope from her Chanel sachet and held it between her fingers, handing it to Yuan Yizhou. Yuan Yizhou took the envelope, opened it, and took out a card from inside. The front of the card had a starry universe image similar to the tail page of the Mianmen Gallery catalog, and the back of the card had a seemingly ordinary address. Number 1 Dayun South Road, Jiexiong North Street. Under this string of small characters, almost half of the area on the back of the card is written in bold. Shuri G 2023.30 T 10.30.30 Z. Is this the key to the Mianmen gallery? Yuan Yizhou asked inexplicably. "Well, you can only enter alone, and you can only open the door at the time indicated on the key," explained Lin Dai. At this moment, Yuan Yizhou realized that the bolded characters in the latter half were cosmic time, March 30th, 2023, which is the day after tomorrow. T represents the time separator, 10.30 minutes and 30 seconds, and Z represents the standard time zone. But what does the Shi period mean? You have 30 seconds to open the door, and at 10.31, this key will become invalid, Lin Dai continued. The address indicated on the key can be found on the map, but the address of the key invited by the Mianmen gallery is different every time. Finding an address after leaving is meaningless. Lin Dai said this, pausing for a moment, knowing that Yuan Yizhou has many problems. "Are you saying that the Mianmen gallery existed at a specific time and address?" Yuan Yizhou tried to understand Lin Dai's words earlier. It can be said that everything is actually a specific existence in time and space, just like you can never step into the same river. The Mianmen gallery just added time coordinates to its key, and Yi Qinghe may want to see you there for a reason. What does Shi Ji mean? Yuan Yizhou didn't give up any clues. "I'm not very clear either, you have to ask Yi Qinghe about this," Lin Dai candidly said. "Is this what Yi Qinghe asked you to give me? Why is it the day after tomorrow?" Knowingly asking, who else could it be if it weren't her? "She said your Luotang costume would only be delivered to your residence tomorrow, and you would need to wear it when you go to the Mianmen gallery." Lin Dai remained straightforward. "Luotang costume? Are you referring to the batch of clothes made by Fei Yu's Luotang Qingyi Pavilion for the Mianmen gallery? Clothes that are the same as the fabric on your body?" Yuan Yizhou's brain spun rapidly. Yes, for your safety reasons, it's best to wear a Luotang costume when entering and exiting the Miman Gallery, suggested Lin Dai. The Luotang costume you're wearing today, isn't it? Not bad, I just came back from the Miman Gallery and had some issues with my keys when I left. I was only 20 minutes late for the rehearsal. Lin Dai watched Jiao Yang keep checking the time and knew that he was about to enter the live broadcast room. She finished by saying, "Senior brother Yuan, I've told you everything I know. You can ask Yi Qinghe for the rest." "What did you mean by completing the task just now?" Yuan Yizhou clearly had a question that Lin Dai needed to answer. Lin Dai gave Jiao Yang a white glance, as if blaming him for not noticing Yuan Yizhou enter earlier. Then she reluctantly replied, "My task is to be Yi Qinghe's courier, hand over the keys to you personally, and promise that you will definitely come to the appointment." "Why? Why would you help Yi Qinghe with things?" Yuan Yizhou asked suspiciously. "Because she promised me to purchase all the Tang Dynasty ink treasures and Song Dynasty calligraphy and paintings from Jiafu Biqiu. Such a big stroke, can't I run errands?" Lin Dai avoided Yuan Yizhou's direct gaze when answering this question. "It's almost time, the director has urged you several times to enter the live broadcast room. Let's finish the live broadcast first and then chat." Jiao Yang saw Lin Dai's unease and quickly stepped forward to make amends. Yuan Yizhou couldn't ask further. He put the key card into the pocket inside his suit and followed Lin Dai and Jiao Yang into the live broadcast room. The live broadcast ended smoothly. Yuan Yizhou had not yet regained his senses, and Lin Dai had already walked out of sight. Jiao Yang was surrounded by a large crowd of people busy with post-production editing. At that moment, the driver, Xiao Du, called and said, "Mr. Yuan, congratulations on the smooth end of your live broadcast. Just now, the director of the appraisal laboratory asked if you still want to go tonight. He will be waiting for you all the time. You don't meet safety standards in the laboratory alone at night." Yuan Yizhou couldn't stay any longer, so he went downstairs and got on the car directly. When Xiao Du started the train, Yuan Yizhou said, "Go to a place first and then go to the appraisal laboratory." Du Ming said, "Mr. Yuan, you haven't had dinner yet. I have already packed a Japanese dish for you. Where are we going next?" As he spoke, he handed over a beautifully packaged lunch box. "Thank you, number 1 Dayun South Road, Jixiong North Street." Yuan Yizhou took the lunch box and told Du Ming the address on the key to the Miman Gallery. "Number 1 Dayun South Road, Jixiong North Street." "It's so late, what are you doing there, Mr. Yuan?" Du Ming, who has always been steady, was surprised. "Do you know this place? This is the government's demolition area, which has been abandoned for a long time." Du Ming, who has been a driver for many years, has always claimed to be using a live map. Driving without navigation is his proudest thing. In the streets and alleys of a city, he knows the roads that navigation knows, and the roads that navigation does not mark. Du Ming also has a clear door. Demolition area. Yuan Yizhou clearly didn't expect the anti-Mongolian gallery to be in the demolition area. "Let's go take a look." The car quickly arrived at this place, and as Du Ming said, although the street lights were dim, the word "dismantle" on the wall jumped into his eyes without any disguise. Looking around, the street was in ruins and extremely deserted. Number 1 Dayun South Road is at the intersection ahead, and the car can no longer drive in. "Mr. Yuan, do you still need to go there?" Du Ming asked. "You wait for me here, I'll go back as soon as I go." Yuan Yizhou opened his seatbelt and prepared to get off the car. "Wait, Mr. Yuan, bring this." Du Ming took out a flashlight from the passenger compartment and handed it to Yuan Yizhou. "Thank you, it's still thoughtful of you," Yuan Yizhou praised. After Yuan Yizhou got off the car, he followed the direction pointed out by Du Ming and walked to the intersection. He saw that the road sign on Dayun South Road was still there. Turning around the intersection, Du Ming's high beam could no longer shine on the road. Yuan Yizhou turned on his flashlight, carefully walked around the gravel and debris on the road, continued walking for about 50 meters, and stopped at a door. This is the first door on this road. Rather than being a door, it is more like a standing door panel. Apart from the door number hanging on it, which clearly reads, Number 1, the house that should have existed behind the door has been completely demolished. From outside the door, the scenery inside the house can be seen without any vitality, except for the ruins and broken walls. Yuan Yizhou took out the key to the Mingmeng gallery from the pocket inside his suit, carefully confirmed it with the light of a flashlight, and said, Number 1 Dayun South Road, Jiexiong North Street. That's right, it's here. It seems that the visit time is indeed incorrect. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Identification Laboratory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Identification Laboratory. When Yuan Yizhou arrived downstairs at the appraisal laboratory, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. Seeing that the lights in the laboratory upstairs were still on, Feng Shuhai should still be waiting for him. He turned to Du Ming and said, I won't be going back to my residence tonight. I might have to stay up all night in the laboratory. You should go back first. Come pick me up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and go back to the apartment before going to the office. After Du Ming said goodbye to him, Yuan Yizhou took out his access card and swiped it into the elevator of the experimental building. The laboratory is on the 6th floor of the building, and the elevator door opens. The big characters, Book C and 1 Boat Appraisal Center, come into view. The security guard on duty at the front desk saw Yuan Yizhou and quickly stood up, saying, Good evening, Mr. Yuan. Director Feng has been in the laboratory since dinner. He told me that you can go there directly when you come, without going to his office. Yuan Yizhou nodded to indicate that he knew, and then walked directly into the changing room of the experimental area. He changed into protective equipment such as lab clothes, headsets, foot covers, and splash goggles, and then walked into the wind shower room. The high-speed clean air scrubbed Yuan Yizhou for about 2 minutes, and the door to the ultra-clean experimental space was unlocked. As soon as Yuan Yizhou entered the door, he saw Feng Shuhai burying his head in front of the photoelectric microscope. Upon hearing him enter, Feng Shuhai raised his head and greeted him. It seems like he has gained something today, so late. Well, tonight may drag you all night, Yuan Yizhou said as he handed over a sealed bag to Feng Shuhai. Look at these 2 things, I got them from the Qingyi Pavilion in Luotang. This fabric was worn when Xingmeng disappeared, and according to Fei Yu, only this water blade can cut it. Yuan Yizhou summarized the key points of meeting Fei Yu succinctly. This fabric has been custom-made for a batch of clothing by the Mingmeng Gallery. When I first saw Lin Dai on TV, she was wearing the same clothes. Yuan Yizhou added, it is very likely that its properties will change with temperature, and color and hardness are the main parameters of change. Other details need to be measured. You're capable of handling half of the laboratory equipment, so I'll do an IR sample material identification first to see what its components are. Feng Shuhai responded, what do you think of this water blade? At present, there is no definite direction. This liquid is not water and has no killing effect on ordinary substances, Yuan Yizhou recalled. However, the Cherokee Tang fabric is as easy as the palm of his hand. Fei Yu said that he recommended the fabric to Star Dream for making flag robes because he was obsessed with the feeling of cutting. Well, it seems that we still need to start with the fabric. I have a guess, could it be a molecular knife? Feng Shuhai analyzed based on Yuan Yizhou's information. Molecular knife. Are you saying that this liquid cutting fabric is a chemical reaction, not a physical cutting? Yuan Yizhou was inspired. Well, there's a possibility, Feng Shuhai said. Let's first perform a transmission microscope on this water blade to see its structure. Let me do it, let's work together at the same time, it will be faster, Yuan Yizhou suggested. Okay, it's similar to doing research projects in graduate school, it's still easy to do experiments with your partner. Feng Shuhai replied. After agreeing on the experimental plan, the two of them got busy. After about an hour, the IR test results produced the original spectrum. Feng Shuhai called Yuan Yizhou over and said, I have made a preliminary comparison between this spectrum and the textile database, and there are no matching samples at all. This means it's definitely not a textile material. Yuan Yizhou continued according to Feng Shuhai's logic. It means it is definitely not known, the textile material of the human world. Feng Shuhai further refined his deduction and added two attributions to Yuan Yizhou's preliminary conclusion. Combined with the gray-white iron sand at the disappearance site of Star Dream, we cannot limit the scope to the known human world. Feng Shuhai explained the basis of his deduction. Then let's expand the matching range and include non-textile materials in the matching queue. Yuan Yizhou agreed with Feng Shuhai's deduction and continued to diverge his thinking. Agree, I have expanded the matching requirements to cover all categories, and our laboratory database should cover enough samples. Feng Shuhai nodded in agreement while operating the software. This will take a little more time, and we may have to wait until dawn to get the results. How are you doing on your end? I also saw preliminary water blade microscope images. Yuan Yizhou turned the monitor in front of Feng Shu's sea surface. As you expected, this blade has a molecular chain structure, arranged very neatly, and can also present a liquid form. It's unbelievable that such a neat arrangement of molecular chains is not an exaggeration even for solids. The molecules in liquid matter have a lot of freedom, and it's impossible to be so neat. Feng Shuhai exclaimed. It seems that we have indeed encountered an unknown non-human world. Yuan Yizhou's voice was filled with concern. If that's the case, should we also put some aerospace materials and extraterrestrial sample data in the matching queue? Feng Shuhai asked. The extraterrestrial sample. Yuan Yizhou asked in confusion, where did you get the extraterrestrial sample? No need, Feng Shuhai said mysteriously, I have obtained database permissions from various national space agencies and can download the latest extraterrestrial exploration data. Yuan Yizhou, his classmate, was a dual doctoral student in cultural relic appraisal and computer science. How could a database permission surpass him? Seeing that he was already immersed in the practice of his own ideas, Yuan Yizhou stopped talking and began to focus on high-precision perspective scanning of water blade molecular chains. When Dongfang's fish belly turned white, Feng Shuhai's database scan ended and the matching results came out. When the two of them saw the conclusion on the screen, they were speechless for a long time. The matching degree between the sample and the third sample of the Perseverance Mars probe is 99%. Yuan Yizhou looked into Feng Shuhai's eyes and said, let's summarize tonight's test results. Firstly, neither of these things was created by Earth civilization. Secondly, their matching degree with the infrared spectroscopy analysis of the samples collected by the Mars probe is 99%, which basically confirms that these items come from Mars. Feng Shuhai continued with Yuan Yizhou's conclusion. This makes sense for the 100% iron element gray-white sand left behind by the disappearance of Star Dream, Yuan Yizhou continued. The molecular chains of the water blade react with the molecules of the Luotang fabric, cutting off the molecular structure of the Luotang fabric. Therefore, the feeling of cutting that Fei Yu is obsessed with is the feeling of a chemical molecular knife cutting the molecular chains. Feng Shuhai added. And this molecular knife only undergoes a cutting reaction when it encounters specific molecules, so it has no killing power on objects on Earth. It is a custom-made cutter for the Luotangbu molecule. Yuan Yizhou ended his brainstorming with Feng Shuhai and deduced the conversation. After a moment of relative silence, Yuan Yizhou rubbed his temples and said, Shuhai, you go back and rest. The matter with Xingmeng seems to be quite complicated. I need to prepare for an important meeting tomorrow. Knowing these appraisal results is important for this meeting. Thank you for working overtime with me last night. Why are you polite to me? Do you want me to accompany you to tomorrow's meeting? Taking care of multiple people is not harmful. Feng Shuhai had never seen Yuan Yizhou so serious and caring. They only invited me alone, you can't enter, Yuan Yizhou still said gratefully. Who are they? Feng Shuhai still didn't give up. At least I know who you went to see. If something happens, I also know where to find you. The people of the Miameng Gallery, no, they should be said to be Martians of the Miameng Gallery. Yuan Yizhou looked up at the rising red sun outside the window. The morning light shone through the laboratory glass, shining on him. The red sun reflected in his bloodshot eyes, like fire and blood. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Multifaceted Person Zhao Liang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Multifaceted Person Zhao Liang. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Du Ming waited at the laboratory downstairs on time. Feng Shuhai escorted Yuan Yizhou out of the laboratory and handed him a compact bag. Upon seeing it, Yuan Yizhou saw that it was the water blade used to cut Luotang. Just in case, take it with you, Feng Shuhai advised. Yuan Yizhou nodded and bid farewell to Feng Shuhai. Du Ming escorted Yuan Yizhou back to his private apartment in the city center. Yuan Yizhou explained to Du Ming, you can go straight to the office. I won't go out today. By the way, please help me tell Xiao AI that all the schedules for this week have been cancelled. What time should I pick you up tomorrow? Asked Du Ming. I'm going to number 1 Dayun South Road, Jixiong North Street again tomorrow. I'll be there very punctually at 10:30 a.m. this time. You calculate the time and based on your road experience, just deliver me at 10 o'clock a.m. Yuan Yizhou trusted Du Ming's professional level very much and let him decide the time to pick him up. Okay, no problem, Mr. Yuan, you will be ready to depart at the apartment tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I will arrive downstairs at 9 o'clock on time, said Du Ming confidently. After Du Ming drove away, Yuan Yizhou entered the password for the apartment unit door, entered the lobby, and walked towards the elevator. Before taking a few steps, someone shouted, Mr. Yuan, please stay. He turned around and saw that it was Xiao Li from the property management. What's up? Yuan Yizhou asked. Good morning, Mr. Yuan. There is a package that has just been delivered to you, it's an express delivery. I wonder if you can sign for it now, said Xiao Li as he moved a package from under the front desk in the apartment lobby. It doesn't look heavy, but it's not small in size. Yuan Yizhou glanced at the delivery note on the package and found that the recipient was indeed him. The sender column was blank. After signing Xiao Li's delivery record, he carried the package into the elevator. This is a villa area located in the bustling city center, seeking tranquility amidst the hustle and bustle. Yuan Yizhou's apartment is a stacked duplex within the community, with elevators entering the house and closing the door for seclusion. Going downstairs leads to the mortal world. It is also the wedding room that he and Cui Xingmeng have just prepared, so the layout of the room is very innovative and unique, full of the elegant taste and charm of future male and female hosts. After Yuan Yizhou entered the door, he put the express package in the foyer, took off his suit jacket, put on his slippers, and found a pair of scissors to open the express delivery without a sender. After removing the outer layer of the express delivery packaging, there was a black dress box inside. As expected by Yuan Yizhou, it was wrapped in soft lining paper inside, which was a silver-white suit customized by Yi Qinghe for him at the Qingyi Pavilion in Luotang. Yuan Yizhou took out his clothes and placed them on the sofa, then went to the bathroom to take a shower. He needed to catch up and prepare for tomorrow's unpredictable appointment at the Mimen Gallery. 72 hours after Cui Xingmeng went missing, Yuan Yizhou did not close his eyes. Coupled with all night's mental labor last night, he slept soundly and woke up with the sun already setting. After waking up, his brain was unusually clear, as if clues that could not be sorted out before bedtime were being processed in the back of his brain during deep sleep. He suddenly realized that he had overlooked someone who was present at the scene when Star Dream went missing. This person also had the key to the Miameng Gallery, and he helped Lin Dai successfully complete the task of inviting him to enter the Mianmeng Gallery. He was his own childhood friend, Jiao Yang, the producer of the TV Treasure Festival. Perhaps it was because he was too familiar with the other person, so he assumed he was ignoring them. Yuan Yizhou thought regretfully and dialed Jiao Yang's phone number. "Hey, Yizhou, what's up?" The familiar voice sounded a bit unfamiliar at the moment. "What do you know about the disappearance of Xingmeng?" Yuan Yizhou went straight in. There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. After a while, Jiao Yang said, "Did you have dinner? I came to find you at a barbecue restaurant near your house. We haven't had a drink in a long time." "Okay, I'll wait for you at the barbecue restaurant." Yuan Yizhou answered the invitation cleanly. After hanging up Jiao Yang's phone, Yuan Yizhou made a greeting call to his mother. At the end of the call, he said to his mother, "Mom, I may have a long business trip and I won't be able to call you recently. Take care of your health. If you want to take a stroll, come and take a look at me. The envelope in the first drawer on the left side of the TV cabinet in my living room is for your emergency." After chatting with his mother, Yuan Yizhou put all his bank cards and password letters in an envelope, with the cover written, "Yuan's mother's letter." After sealing it, he put it in the drawer he had arranged with his mother. If something unexpected happens to oneself and Xingmeng, these mothers who have worked hard enough for half a life can live their old age safely. After arranging everything properly, Yuan Yizhou put on his coat and walked downstairs shortly before arriving at the barbecue restaurant mentioned by Jiao Yang. He ordered grilled meat and beer and waited quietly for Jiao Yang to appear. Not long after, Jiao Yang arrived and sat in front of Yuan Yizhou, his eyes facing each other. Obviously, Yuan Yizhou had no intention of speaking first. "I do know some things related to the disappearance of Xingmeng," Jiao Yang said first. "But these things will naturally become known to you when you arrive at the Mianmeng Gallery, so I didn't tell you, for fear of adding to your troubles. Let's talk about it, what's going on?" Yuan Yizhou tried to control his emotions and focus the conversation on the key points. "I am Yiqinghe's experimental seed recruiter." Jiao Yang saw that there was no need to hide it anymore, so he confessed it completely. Mainly responsible for recruiting excellent seed players for Earth experiment, Cui Xingmeng is the #1 seed who meets all the conditions. "Are you not from Earth?" Yuan Yizhou hesitated for a long time when facing his childhood friend Fa Xiao, and finally asked this question. "Yes, not really." Jiao Yang remained non-committal. "It depends on your definition of being a human on Earth." "What is the definition of a human on Earth?" Yuan Yizhou imagined Jiao Yang's countless answers to his own questions, but never thought he would say so. "I can actually be considered an Earthling because my entire physiological structure has evolved over several generations and no longer requires the help of Luotang. I can fully adapt to the environment of the Earth, without any difference from what you call an Earthling." Jiao Yang continued, "The only difference is that I am no longer limited by time coordinates." "The limitation of time coordinates. What does it mean? You can shuttle back and forth?" Yuan Yizhou tried to understand Jiao Yang's words. "It can be said that if Earthlings could only travel in 3-dimensional space, then the civilization of my home planet would no longer be limited by the time dimension and could travel in 4-dimensional space." Jiao Yang tried to explain to him in Yuan Yizhou's words. "The civilization of your home planet. So you come from Mars?" Yuan Yizhou asked tentatively. "It seems that you gained a lot in the appraisal laboratory last night, and a piece of Luotang's leftover material surprisingly allowed you to find so much information." Jiao Yang praised, "It's truly the seed catalyst I recommended. Yes, my wisdom and soul come from the Martian civilization, but they all require carriers and containers, which is my body as an Earthling." Jiao Yang finally found a more precise way to answer the question of whether he is a human on Earth. "I am the seed catalyst you recommended." What Jiao Yang said at this moment, Yuan Yizhou wouldn't find it strange, but the combination of these words makes it difficult for him to connect with himself. Yes, Xingmen is the first seed of the She-Earth experiment approved by the Presbyterian Council. Her lover, you, is the catalyst for this seed. Without you, they cannot do anything to Xingmen. Liang explained, so they asked Lin Dai to come forward and invite you to the Mimen Gallery. Lin Dai is also a Martian like you. Yuan Yizhou could only find some understandable parts from Liang's words to ask. No, she is a native of Earth, just like you. I hope she is a Martian immigrant, so that I can have more opportunities. Liang said sincerely and helplessly, she is the backup seed for voluntarily participating in the Earth experiment. What are the Earth experiments and seeds that you have been mentioning all along? Yuan Yizhou tried to keep the conversation within his digestible range. Where have you brought star dreams now? I'm just a recruiter, and the level of confidentiality for these questions is not something I can know. You may have to ask Yi Qinghe yourself, Liang shrugged. It's Yi Qinghe again. It seems that we really need to meet this person well tomorrow. No, it's the Martian who manipulates the so-called Earth experiment behind the scenes. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Covenant to Extinguish Mongolia. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Covenant to Extinguish Mongolia. Yuan Yizhou and Liang finished dinner, and on their way back to the apartment, they kept organizing their conversations in their minds. What Liang said tonight can be confirmed in 3 points. Firstly, the Martian civilization has broken through the three-dimensional limitations and mastered the methods of temporal changes. Secondly, star dreams should be temporarily safe, and they need me to catalyze the so-called experimental seeds. Thirdly, it seems that there are already wisdom and souls of extraterrestrial civilizations on Earth, as Liang said. They only exist around us in the form of human bodies and appearances on Earth. At the same time, there are 3 key questions that remain unresolved. First, why do Martians conduct Earth experiments? Are they enemies or friends? Secondly, if they have mastered the technology of time and space shuttle, it means that the Mimen Gallery I will go to tomorrow may not be on Earth or in our era. Thirdly, where does Xirou come from and what has it done to starry dreams? It seems that these are the 3 questions that will only be answered when we meet Yi Qinghe tomorrow. Having sorted out the ideas for tomorrow's meeting and conversation, Yuan Yizhou became much more calm. With so many years of experience in cultural relic appraisal, he has already witnessed the traces of civilization in different time and space on this blue planet, and has long been convinced that contemporary human civilization is not the most developed, and contact with high-dimensional civilization is a matter of time. However, he never felt that he would be the lucky one to meet in such a way. Thinking of this, he actually had more expectations for tomorrow's meeting. The next morning, Yuan Yizhou got up early and started preparing. He made himself a sumptuous breakfast, basking in the rising sun and savoring every bite of food. After breakfast, he changed into a Luotang suit, which fit comfortably without any surprise. The clothes cooperated with his movements, making Yuan Yizhou feel that what he was wearing was not just a set of clothes, but more like his personal bodyguard, as soft as silk and as strong as armor. Lin Dai once said that wearing it is for his safety. What are the dangers of visiting the Mimen Gallery? He put the key to the Mimen Gallery in his hand, carefully looked back and forth, and then put it into the pocket inside his suit. The water blade given by Feng Shuhai was still in the sealed bag, and Yuan Yizhou placed it in the right outer pocket of the suit for easy removal. After completing these preparations, Du Ming's text message arrived as scheduled. Mr. Yuan, I'm already downstairs. You're ready, we can set off any time. Yuan Yizhou quickly replied with 2 words, here, and then changed his shoes and went downstairs. Du Ming was indeed very precise in grasping the road conditions, even though he caught the morning rush hour in a city. When they arrived at Jiexiong North Street, it was exactly 10 o'clock. Du Ming parked his car at the intersection where it was parked last night, turned off the engine, and turned to Yuan Yizhou, saying, Mr. Yuan, I'll accompany you over. Yuan Yizhou didn't refuse, but he knew that Du Ming couldn't get in without a key. After getting off the car, the two of them followed the signboard on Dayun South Road and arrived at Gate 1. Once we arrive, let's deliver it here. You can wait for me in the car first, Yuan Yizhou turned to Du Ming. Here. Du Ming clearly didn't understand. How could the place where his boss dressed up for the appointment be here? A ruins in the center of the demolition area with only one door panel. Mr. Yuan, will someone come here to see you later? I'll accompany you and take care of you. Du Ming recalled the scene of kidnapping and extortion, looking as if he wanted to live and die with Yuan Yizhou. Upon seeing this, Yuan Yizhou couldn't help but be amused by him and said, "There's still half an hour left until the agreed time. I want to come over early to take a look. There won't be anyone coming soon, so you don't have to worry." Du Ming became even more puzzled. If no one came, who would you meet here? He thought to himself, but when he saw Yuan Yizhou coming prepared, he stopped asking and silently followed behind him, strolling around the door of the demolished house with him, without any intention of returning to the car. Yuan Yizhou opened the door panel and with a creaking sound, as if it was still functional, he walked into the other side of the door panel. As seen outside, the garden is littered with ruins and construction waste piled up everywhere. Even without demolition, this place should have been very dilapidated because the construction waste is mainly made of red mud bricks, which were the main materials used in the 1980s construction. These mud bricks generally cannot exceed 6 floors in height, as too high can cause a floor to sink due to excessive pressure. If the key that opens the Miameng Gallery later is really at this address, it should be a very distant time and space, either a long time ago or a long time later. Yuan Yizhou was constantly analyzing in his mind. He lifted his watch and glanced at the time. At 10:25, it was almost time. For the safety of Du Ming, he needed to trick him back into the car. "Xiao Du, I'm a bit thirsty. Is there any water in the car?" Yuan Yizhou thought to himself. "Yes, I'll go get it for you. You wait for me here, Mr. Yuan." Du Ming looked around and saw that there was still no one around. He thought to himself, if you go to the intersection 100 meters away and get a bottle of water from the car, there shouldn't be anything wrong. Just trotted towards the intersection where the car was parked. After supporting Du Ming, Yuan Yizhou returned to the front of the door panel and took out the key to the Miameng Gallery from his suit, waiting quietly. The minute hand had just moved to 6, and the door number on the door panel began to change, as if a beam of light had passed through the letter 1 from behind the door. Immediately after, Yuan Yizhou heard a calm and clear female voice coming from inside. "Please scan the time coordinates on the key." Yuan Yizhou lifted the card and placed the number on the back facing the light passing through the door number. "Time coordinate matching, Mr. Yuan Yizhou, welcome to the Miameng Gallery." The same female voice, accompanied by a very textured sound, just now the creaking and twisting door panel opened. Yuan Yizhou calmed down for a moment, pushed open the door and stepped in. As he passed through the door frame, he felt the Luotang clothes on his body tighten. As soon as Yuan Yizhou entered the door, he was startled by the sight before him. It wasn't until the door slammed shut behind him that he regained his senses. The scene behind the door has nothing to do with the possibility he just analyzed. This is a manor, and Yuan Yizhou is standing at the entrance of the main road. At the end of the main road is a European-style castle. On both sides of the main road are various sculptures arranged in sequence, with 2 tall tree walls behind the sculptures. The garden of the entire estate is grand, yet full of privacy, making visitors feel like they can see through the castle at a glance, yet unaware of the world behind the tree walls. Yuan Yizhou walked briskly onto the main road and headed towards the ancient castle. After only a few steps, the sculptures on the roadside caught his interest. Venus with severed arms, the thinker, the discus thrower. His professional instincts made him keenly aware that these sculptures were not counterfeit. Keep moving forward. Rat head. Bull head. Tiger head. He looked around and saw the 12 animal heads of the old summer palace. No shortage. How could this be? Last month, he and Xingming just went to the Louvre to see a few of them, and the chicken head and snake head have been missing for many years. How could they all appear here? Yuan Yizhou was extremely shocked in his heart, but he did not stop. Soon, the courtyard corridor of the castle was within reach. At this moment, Yuan Yizhou realized that a person in a Luotang costume was standing in front of the corridor, seemingly waiting for him. Upon closer inspection, it was none other than Yi Qinghe. Yi Qinghe saw that Yuan Yizhou finally noticed him and warmly welcomed him. "Mr. Yuan, we are waiting for you for a long time." End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Human Guardians. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Human Guardians. Yuan Yizhou withdrew his mind that was attracted by the sculpture and said, "What did Mr. Yi mean by us? Did you invite others to come to the Mianmeng Gallery today?" Yi Qinghe smiled and said, "We're all acquaintances. We'll see each other soon. Mr. Yuan, please come with me." Yuan Yizhou followed Yi Qinghe into the ancient castle, and towards him was the magnificent main hall with golden walls. In the center of the main hall, there was a huge metal sundial, more precisely a huge dial-shaped turntable. The turntable was composed of many circles with different markings, all of which tilted around the center of the turntable, similar to a launcher device rotating slowly or quickly. Yuan Yizhou looked at this huge equipment and was mesmerized by its vastness and breathtaking beauty, so stunning that he couldn't move his eyes. Yi Qinghe realized that Yuan Yizhou had not kept up, so she turned around and returned to his side. She saw Yuan Yizhou's amazement and explained, "This is the Mianmeng instrument, used to scan and locate time coordinates. Each circle represents the timing of a world. When you entered the door just now, it scanned your time coordinates in the Shi period, which will accurately connect to the location where you opened the door." What exactly does Shuriji mean? Yuan Yizhou finally had the opportunity to ask this question, which had been lingering in his heart since he received the key. This is a chronological method of Earth experiments, starting with the wisdom gained from the human species. Subsequent Earth experiments are all based on the Shi period, which can be understood as the entire history of humanity to the present day. Yi Qinghe continued, "You should be familiar with the Jurassic period, which was when dinosaurs were the main experimental species, so the Shi period is the Jurassic period of humanity." The Jurassic of humanity. Yuan Yizhou repeated, "Are you saying that dinosaurs, like humans, are part of the Earth experiment?" Yi Qinghe looked at Yuan Yizhou and said, "You can understand it this way. If we add the dimension of time, it can be said that there are two independent experiments. Did you see the golden purple circle engraved with dinosaur symbols?" Yi Qinghe raised his finger and gave it to Yuan Yizhou. "That's the timing ring of the Jurassic period, and the dinosaur Earth experiment is still parallel to the world you came from." "Parallel to the world I came from." Yuan Yizhou followed the direction pointed by Yi Qinghe and looked at the faint and purple golden ring engraved with various symbols, among which there were indeed some dinosaur-like shapes. "Are you saying that parallel worlds really exist? Otherwise, where do you think you are?" Yi Qinghe asked with a smile. At the Mianmeng Gallery." When asked by Yi Qinghe, Yuan Yizhou was not quite sure if his answer was correct. Is Mianmeng Gallery also one of the parallel worlds? That's not true. The Mianmeng Gallery is the only space on Earth without time coordinates. Yi Qinghe couldn't help but say a few more words when Yuan Yizhou asked about the point. Or more precisely, this is the origin of all time and space. At the beginning of the separation of gas, liquid, and solid phases on Earth, as your mythological story tells us, when Pangu created heaven and earth, the entire planet was chaotic with no sense of direction. For the convenience of positioning, the first generation of Earth experiment designers designated the place where gas, liquid, and solid phases first separated as the original starting point of time and space, using it as a reference to open up the 8 wildernesses, build the 6 harmonies, and determine the universe. And this starting point is the current location of the Mia Men Gallery. The concept of eliminating chaos and enlightening wisdom embodies the aspirations of the first generation of experimental designers for the beauty of Earth experiments. This is the starting point and entrance for all parallel worlds beyond the six harmonies. Yuan Yizhou listened to Yi Qinghe's narration. Everything was so natural, and everything was so incredible. It's not just me who wants to see you today. Yi Qinghe gestured to Yuan Yizhou to continue following her, walking towards the reception hall on the right side of the main hall. As she walked, she said, "But it's one of our first-generation Earth experiment designers, the guardian of human species, and the most senior founder of our nursing home. You also have a mythological story about her, and you gave her a beautiful name. Is she what you call an acquaintance?" Yuan Yizhou asked, "What is her name?" "Goddess Nyuwa." "What?" "The goddess Nyuwa who mends the sky. Isn't it a mythological story?" Yuan Yizhou's shock at this moment had already made him unable to respond normally. In just a few minutes from entering the door to now, the 12 beast heads are still within the reach of human cognition, and he can also try to understand the parallel world within his imagination. However, meeting the goddess Nyuwa is beyond his cognition and imagination. Mythical stories are the beginning of human enlightenment, attempting to explain things beyond your cognitive scope in a way that you can understand. The first generation of experimental seeds were also invited to come to the Anti-Men Gallery, and many stories were the result of their oral transmission. Yi Qinghe explained. Yuan Yizhou followed Yi Qinghe through a long corridor, with rare paintings hanging on both sides. At this point, these treasures could no longer cause too much turmoil in Yuan Yizhou's heart. He frantically searched his brain for all possible information about Nyuwa, such as using 5 colored stones to fill the sky, needing yellow mud to create humans, human heads and snake bodies, and the story of Emperor Fuxi. Yi Qinghe seemed to see his thoughts and comforted. "Since I mentioned being an acquaintance, there are naturally parts that you are familiar with. Don't think too much about making things difficult for yourself." After passing through several exhibition halls, Yi Qinghe stopped in front of a red sandalwood door. She knocked lightly on the door and respectfully said, "Elder Cangxi, we have arrived. Come in." The voice was warm and compassionate. Yuan Yizhou, with a pilgrimage-like piety, was nervous and excited, and followed Yi Qinghe to open the door and enter the room. Contrary to the magnificent and dazzling hall, the decoration here is bright, soft, and quaint and elegant. The beige carpet is exceptionally comfortable to step on, and there is a landscape painting hanging on the wall, which is very realistic, as if you can smell the fresh air in the mountains. The porcelain and jade embroidered tea sets placed on the antique shelf facing the door emit a charming light with a sense of historical vicissitudes. The two of them walked around the antique bookshelf, which was a tea room. Several ancient books were scattered on the bookshelf against the wall, and various small mud figures filled most of the space on the bookshelf. On the smoky tea table, there is a cup of brewed clear tea with a fragrant aroma. Next to it is a purple clay pot and an exquisite small purple clay pottery jar. Behind the tea table is a noble concubine's bed, reclining on the bed with her eyes closed to rest. It is the owner of this tea room, Elder Cangxi in the mouth of the Yeqing River, and the goddess Nyuwa in human mythology. Yuan Yizhou was ready to face the human head, snake body, or any non-human image, but at the moment he saw Elder Cangxi, he was stunned and said, "Dream. No, you're not a dream." The Elder Cangxi in front of her has a very similar appearance and facial features to Cui Xingmeng. If it weren't for Yuan Yizhou, others would definitely mistake her for Cui Xingmeng. But she is not Cui Xingmeng, and Yuan Yizhou is very certain that she has a very strong maternal radiance. Just looking at her makes people feel incredibly warm and safe, which is a temperament that Xingmeng or anyone he knows has never possessed. As for her body, which is similar to that of humans, Yuan Yizhou can easily understand that Zhao Yang can put himself into the body of an earthling, let alone the founder of the Martian Elder. Elder Cangxi heard Yuan Yizhou's voice, opened his eyes, smiled, and sat upright. He gently raised his right hand, gesturing for Yuanizhou and Yi Qinghe to sit on the long couch across from the tea table. After the two of them sat respectfully, the warm and compassionate voice continued. Starry Dream is well protected by Xirou, you don't have to worry. This sentence, like the sound of heaven, flowed into Yuanizhou's heart and soul, making his eyes momentarily hazy and speechless. Qinghe will answer all your questions, Elder Cangshi's voice continued to flow in the tea room. Here you are, use it up before going to meet Xingmen. The small purple clay jar on the tea table was handed to Yuanizhou. Yuanizhou took the pottery jar with both hands. At this moment, his six senses slightly recovered from the previous emotion, and he realized that the hand that handed the pottery jar was also semi-transparent, very similar to the semi-transparent hand he finally saw when Xingmen was engulfed by Xilong. Thank you. Elder Cangxi saw that Yuanizhou could finally respond and praised Yi Qinghe, saying, not bad, it's very similar to Bao Gui. End of this chapter.